Hello and welcome back to another episode of the White Sox March to October, and we're getting straight into things with a 3-2 lead to maintain over the Angels, who I think are still leading the AL West right now. We've got Yohan Duran out there. He's 17 pitches in though, so maybe I could take him out if I wanted to. I don't know if I want to, and yeah, I don't think I want to. We're gonna stick with Duran to get this last out of the inning with 2 on. And ooh, he got around on the fastball. Little too far around on it. It was a good thing I went away. And now that we got that out, it should be smooth sailing the rest of this game. And that's a good thing because I actually had something that I wanted to run past you guys right at the beginning of today's episode. Because man, I sat down, I looked at the calendar, and I realized, wow, Trout's coming into the game, interesting. But I realized that as I sit here to record this video, we're only 24 days away from MLB 25 launching on early access that Friday, or technically Thursday night, which almost makes it 23 days away. And with the pace that I'm coming out with episodes of this March to October right now, we're not gonna get through the rest of this season and another one. And ooh, I really missed that right down the pipe. But I still want to get through that 6th season because that would lead us to something that's never been done before. That's the whole reason I put the 6 seasons as the goal, because nobody's ever won 6 titles in a row. But that actually kind of aligns perfectly with something else that I wanted to do before MLB 25 comes out, because man, I want to get back into streaming. I want to stream for MLB 25. I want that to be a regular thing. I know this is something you guys have heard in the past, but this time it's real. And man, I really missed another sinker right over the middle of the plate. But anyway, what all that leads me to is I did want to get some streams in before MLB 25 comes out. So what I was thinking is, what if we finish this season, our 5th season, as normal, just, you know, come out with the normal episodes. But then the 6th season, the final season, that'll be done on stream. And I'm gonna roll over to ground out. So hopefully Crochet can handle a 1-run lead. Because yeah, like I said, with the pace that we're coming out, even if I came out with like an episode a day from this point on, we might not even be able to finish another season and a half. But if I stream it, I don't worry about editing it, I'm pretty confident we could get through another season, especially, you know, if I am able to stream consistently, which isn't something I've been able to do in the past. But I feel like if I have a specific goal in mind and I know I want to get through that 6th season, I can get myself on stream enough times to finish it up. It only took me 8 streams with the March to October I did live earlier this year to finish it up, so I would think it would take 8, maybe even less, because I only stream for like 2 to 3 hours at a time. If I bump that up to 3 to 4 hours, you know, it might take 6 streams. But I'm kind of just rambling at this point. The last point that I wanted to make sure I made. Okay, well, anyway, as I was saying, the last point I wanted to make sure I made talking about this whole streaming idea is I've kind of come to the realization that the place to be to stream MLB The Show is probably Twitch. Ultimately, my goal for what I want to do for next year, or I guess 24 days from now on MLB 25, is I want to multi-stream on both Twitch and YouTube. But since I've already done some YouTube streaming and I have that experience under my belt, I want to do some just Twitch streaming to get myself familiar with that platform, instead of just, you know, overwhelming myself by trying to learn Twitch and learn multi-streaming at the same time. So yeah, if I do stream that 6th season, it'll probably just be on Twitch. I guess, I mean, I do have a Twitch. I've never done anything on it. I've never promoted it, but if I remember to, maybe I'll link it somewhere and you guys can go preemptively follow it, because one way or another, if I'm streaming again, it'll at least in some capacity be on Twitch. But yeah, anyway, that's it. All I wanted to do is run that idea past you guys, let you know where my head's at on how I wanted to finish up this series for this year, and I think that'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And now I guess we gotta walk this one off. The other thing I actually forgot to activate for last inning is I'm trying out some new settings with my DualSense Edge controller, so I want to try and get used to that. I mean, if you're not familiar with the DualSense Edge, it's the way too expensive like Pro controller, and you can manipulate different settings. That's a good swing, even if it's not going to do anything. But you can change like your stick sensitivity, and there's like different stick settings. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I'm trying one out because I've heard it's better. It makes sense. It lets you move the PCI quicker, and I feel like that makes sense if you're trying to get to fastballs and stuff. You want to move that PCI quicker, so we're trying it out. And did Lawler do it? Did Lawler get enough? He did. Okay. I mean, you shouldn't miss a hanging 12-6 like that, and we didn't. And hey, how about that too? Trying out these new settings, I had 2 good swings. Last inning, I forgot to do it, and I had no good swings. And you know what? Like I've said before, we're all about the drama here, and we're all about the strategy. The only reason I gave up that home run with Crochet was so that we get the extra fireball of momentum for walking it off. Obviously. So there we go. We get the one we would have gotten if we just won clean, but then we get an extra one for winning by a walk-off, and now we are set up for so much success. Can't remember if we were 67-23 or 63-27 going into that game. I like 67-23, so I hope that's what it was. Now we got some positive momentum. We're still going to lose a game to Cleveland. Oh, and that's the end of the first half. So, okay, hang on. That means I'm going to have to draft it, doesn't it? But first half, we finished 70-24, which is 13 wins above what we were expected to do, but still not as good as I was hoping. Not as good as the start we got off to led me to hope. We're going to have a crazy second half if we want to continue the trend of improving our record every single season. Haven't done the math. I don't know exactly what we need. I just know we need to play very good. We're going to keep simming. We're going to keep winning, fortunately, and we do have another key moment to play, I guess, before the draft. Actually, does this make sense? Or no, the All-Star break looks like it's after this series. Okay, man, and Dominic Fletcher's up to 21 home runs on the season. Never thought he would have gotten to the point of becoming like a power bat. Vlad's up to 27, Langley's up to 21. Looks like those are our 3 up over 20, but this entire starting lineup's up over 10. Senzel's up over 10. But let's go ahead and get through this next moment here, because I suppose I'm going to be drafting after this one. This is going to end up being a little bit longer of an episode to record than I thought, because I still want to do the draft like I normally do the draft, and as much as I edit it down, it's still going to take me a decent amount of time. So what do we got going on here? Gallen is still out there against his former team. Didn't really point out Zach Gallen, but he is... he's disappointing. His overall is down to an 87 at only 32. He's regressing like crazy. And finally, his numbers are going down to match it too. But we're going to stick with Gallen for now. He does got to get out of a little bit of a jam, I guess. And you know what? Actually, hang on. We got contact on the first pitch. We're there. But no, with changing this batting setting, I also got to remember to change it back to pitching when I pitch. Because the setting I change messes with the left stick, and then that messes with where you place the ball, like the sensitivity of it when you're pitching. And I don't want that messed with. And that's going to give him the lead. Nice. Circle change has not been... That was actually a very close play. Dude, I just kind of threw it home. It wasn't smart to throw it home because it gave Carroll second base. But I had no thought that Spencer Jones was even going to make that close. All right, we got him to roll over that one. Down 1. Let me change this hitting thing before I forget, and let's hope it works out as well for me here as it did last game, because we're going to need it. You know, I actually didn't even realize how many former D-backs we have on our team. We got Gallen, we got Dominic Fletcher, and we've got Jordan Lawler. Okay, and they're leaving Freddie Peralta. Okay, I was going to say out there with 112 pitches. Doesn't matter because his energy is almost halfway still. Oh! Okay, that might be a drawback because I moved the PCI a little too far. I mean, who knows? There's no way to know where I would have moved it normally, but that's kind of what this setting does is in the initial part, it like moves quicker. That's got to do something. I actually didn't put as good of a swing as I thought. He still got there? Dude, Corbin Carroll is killing me today. That's a double against almost anybody else. And I looked at strike 3 to end it. I don't know what's going on. These last like 3 or so episodes, it hasn't been there the same way. We've been dropping games. And we get 3 snowflakes because there's an extra one for getting shut out. And we only had 1 inning to do anything about it. Man, we're seeing that failed screen way too often. It's like I lost that 1 game, I think it was against the Dodgers, and that's just kind of set me off here. I can't rack up wins like I had been. All right, and it is draft time. This matters less and less each season. And this season, it obviously matters the absolute least, because none of these guys are going to make it to the bigs unless I end up doing some sort of long-term simulation. But anyway, my point is I'm probably not going to spend as much time covering this draft as I normally would, so let's go ahead and get through it. And actually, real quick, I am kind of seeing the consequences of not manually scouting. So what does auto scouting do? Because like hardly any of these guys are 100% scouted. Does that tell me that this whole time you don't really need to worry about getting to 100%? Or does that tell me the CPU doesn't really know how to scout? It's one of the two, and they're very different answers. I don't know. I only put one guy on the board. We're just gonna go get into it. I don't even know if he'll be there by the time I get him, but he was ranked like 80th overall, but we had him 100% scouted, one of the few that were 100%, and he was ranked, I think, 24th in our system. So hopefully he drops down to me. Don't know anything about these top guys, but this guy was ranked 10th overall, and the A's took him first. Second pick of the draft was the Cubs. They got the second ranked guy, but we have him 26th, so that might be a miss. And then the last pick that it's gonna pop up showing here, this seems to be the #1 guy. This is actually really interesting. A 22-year-old first baseman with what looks like a really high starting overall and really high potential. And I don't know, normally I like to let it go through every single pick just to give myself time to know what I want to do, but I don't feel like I need to do that, at least not for this first pick when I know we get like 4 minutes, I think, to make it. So we're gonna skip to my pick. That guy's still there, so I think that makes it easy. I think I'm just going to take him because look at him. 18 years old. Starting overall is a little low. Potential is potentially high. It's at least should be in the 80s, but he's a high contact, vision, and disciplined catcher. I know we've drafted a lot of catchers, but we've drafted a lot of everything, and nobody's made their way up. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and take him. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do from this point on. I did kind of want to have a focus on position players, and if I remember right, looking at my team's depth chart, what we're going to need in the short term, like I'm talking just next season, is outfielders, which I suppose drafting outfielders doesn't really matter because they're not going to get called up anyway, but I still think I'll focus on that. All right, I've added a few players. I'm just going to see what happens when I skip to my next pick. A couple of them are gone. I think the top ones were gone, which is a shame. We don't really know much about these first two guys. This guy we know 100%, and even though in terms of our rank this would be a reach, in terms of the MLB rank it's technically a good pick. And what I do like is since we have him 100% scouted, we should know for a fact that that contact versus righties is as good as it seems like it can be. He also should have decently high starting overall for an 18-year-old. Again, none of this matters. I keep acting like it matters. It probably doesn't matter. All right, we're already up again. I don't know why we have a competitive balance pick every single season. And we already have so much pitching in our system, but based on how much we know about the other position players that I have on the board, it would technically be a little early to pick them. I don't really know, but this guy looks decent for what we know. I mean, at least an 80 potential is kind of, I feel like, crazy to get with our third pick. Pitch mix is a little funky though. He's got 3 fastballs and then a changeup, but let's take him. Let's see what that overall or that potential is with it having the potential of being so high. All right, then I think we just have 4 more picks of the last pick of each round. I'm just going to go ahead and sim to the next one. We have nobody left on our board and only a minute to figure out what we're going to do from this point. Okay, well, we've got another pitcher then that I could take. Potential and overall windows identical. Unranked overall, we have him 75. He's another lefty. Looks like the stamina is good, which is a good thing. He's only got 3 pitches, which is a bad thing, but I'm already running out of time. Let's take him. Why not? I mean, we've had a couple 3-pitch lefties do pretty well for us. All right, I've added a couple more guys to my board, so let's skip to the next pick. And I think this is actually, yeah, okay, this is good. This is a guy I wanted to still be there. Know a decent amount about him. Not very high potential. Starting overall is fine, but what I do like is he looks like a very nice glove in the outfield. So as long as there's something we can find in somebody, we'll take him. All right, skipping ahead again, and we still have probably the guy I wanted the most, actually. We don't know a ton about him, but our auto scouts have him ranked 42nd. From what we do know about him, going from being unranked overall. So I'm just curious to see what this guy is. Looks like he has potentially high stamina. He's got a 5-pitch mix. Another running fastball. We keep drafting running fastballs and none of them have made it to the league, so I've still never seen that pitch. But let's give it a shot. Let's see what he might turn into. In a way, this is almost the most fun draft I've done yet because there is like zero stakes, but at the same time, it's just like all risks. It's just like, let's just pick a guy and see what they end up as. And let's just skip to our last pick. Oh, that one guy isn't there anymore. Who is here? What options do we have left? There's hardly anybody. We got a couple right fielders, a left fielder, a couple of starters. I guess I should just take an outfielder, right? Because that's kind of what I want. This dude looks pretty solid in the field. That's at least something. What about this guy? We know a little bit more about him. His potential could be higher. You know what? I'm going to take Fairchild here. Maybe for the simple fact that I know that I'm confident in how you pronounce that last name. I added him to the queue. I got to draft him. There we go. And that's it. The fastest, least consequential draft we've ever done in the books. I wish I could just see the results immediately to know if any of those picks hit, but we are going to have to wait until the trade deadline passes because that's also when that signing period passes, and that's when you get to see the full results of the draft and the potentials and all that sorts of stuff, and that's probably not going to happen until next episode, I'd assume. We do still got to try and sign these guys. We can't even offer that guy one yet. Interesting. Our number one pick is the least interested to join us. I don't know how anybody at this point could not have interest in signing with us when we've won 4 titles in a row and we're positioned to win 5. Anyway, let's try and sign our second pick of the draft, and this kind of threw me off because I feel like I've never seen the meter this far to the right, but I guess that's because we don't typically take guys that are ranked higher but fall down further. We normally take guys that are ranked lower and we take early because I trust my scouts. So do I actually have to like pay attention to this now? Do I actually have to worry about the interest? Let's just bring it down to 50-50. Let's coin flip this and see if he'll sign. He does. All right. And then our third pick, this is more like it, down just a couple ticks from the bottom. Let's try them all like this. Let's bump them down. Let's see if they'll sign for this money. I mean, Jerry wanted to save money this season after all, didn't he? Guess it didn't work so well on Will. Ooh, and the interest actually went down. I don't know if I've seen that before, which I guess actually that makes a lot of sense. I've never really given an offer that lowers interest before, but that makes sense that then that would be the new interest. I don't know. I feel like learning that mechanic could make this whole portion of the game, the experience, actually a lot more interesting if they didn't make the bonus allotment so high that it hardly ever matters how much you offer to people. Like if you actually had to be strategic in what you were offering people so you stayed under that cap, and then you did have to factor in the interest potentially falling and stuff like that, this could be a fun little like mini game type thing in the mode. I don't really know why I'm messing with this. Was this where it was at? I don't know. We'll try it. He's here. Shane Baez. I mean, we'll bump it one up and see what happens. There we go. Got him. This is the guy I'm really interested to see what he becomes, because this could be like an insane hit in round 6. Actually, I feel like it's all upside because even if he ends up being bad, it's a 6th round pick. Who cares? Let's just bump him up a little bit, get him up over 60%. There we go. I think we only have one guy left to try and sign in this portion, so let's just bump that up to 3. Oh, he doesn't want it. All right, well, anyway, we're gonna have to sim to the next one because these two declined and he's not interested enough yet. It's gonna take 2 more simmings to even get him up to 50%. Oh, and we're just instantly into the next one. All right, let's try Fairchild again. Same offer. He signs this time. Will Salazar. Again, I mean, we have so much bonus allotment left, it doesn't matter. I'll bump him up to 60% too. Oh, and he's still declining. All right, we'll sim again. Is this gonna be instant again? It is instant again. It still even says 12 days. We didn't even move on at all. What? Okay. Apparently I can offer to Will Salazar again and he's gonna decline again. Is this broken right now? Okay, there we go. The simming thing actually popped up this time. Still didn't sim anything. Will Salazar's potential window actually went up a little bit. Now it goes all the way up to 99 the more we've learned about him. I'm gonna give him the same offer again. He'll get there eventually. The interest is going up slightly each time. Can finally offer to Kevin Simmons. Guess we'll bump that up a little bit too. Oh, and he's declining. Okay, these guys are making it difficult on me. Well, and there it bugged out again because it didn't advance at all, but I suppose I can attempt another offer. Oh, and this time he signs. So the same interest level, the same offer, and he signs this time. So we'll do the same thing for Will then. Same offer, same interest level. He's still declining. This dude is insane. He will not budge, will he? Oh, we finally get to sim some games. Now, of course, we're going to lose back-to-back against the Pirates because of our negative momentum. Same offers now up to 70% interested, and he finally signs. And that potential window even went up a little bit higher. All right, so everything draft related then is done. I guess we're only 8 days away. I mean, who knows? If we like play one more game and then sim a week, we might see the draft results today. And this is a quick one. We just got to close out a game against the Nationals. I guess I shouldn't say that it's going to be a quick one because both games so far I haven't escaped without giving up a run. But third time's a charm, right? Crochet out there. He's walked one. Go ahead runs coming up. See what you got, Crochet, in these City Connects. Dude, I don't know. I'm almost scared to throw the circle change again. And if, oh wait, that might be a double play. That might be exactly what we needed. Nice. And, oh, it got past Crochet. Doesn't matter. Lawler's there, and there it is. Finally, a nice and quick victory. No stress in that one. I mean, I guess because it was no stress, we only get one fireball. I don't even know how much that's going to do. Because I think our negative momentum snowflake wasn't quite neutral yet. So this fireball might just kind of bring us back to neutral. I'm not sure. Hopefully, it at least erases the snowflake. Hopefully, it turns it into a fireball, even if it is still neutral. It's probably what it's going to do. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. So how much are we going to sim here, or what's the next game gonna look like? Because we might be able to see our picks. We actually, okay, we get all the way to the final trade. If I make a trade, it'll be a player lock, and then one more game, we might be able to see our picks immediately. Okay, I might just do that. I might just play until we see our picks today. Actually, I kind of already decided I wasn't going to do this one in my head, that I was moving on. But yeah, we don't need an 87 overall Christopher Morel, especially not when we're getting rid of Jody Deal. Yeah, he's only a rental anyway. I was going to say it might be a little interesting if he was on the books for a couple more seasons. Just knowing what I think is going to be happening to our outfield sooner rather than later, but we'll be fine. Detroit's offer is Kerry Carpenter. This one's a little bit more enticing, actually. This one actually seems like a move that there is no reason not to do. I don't really care about getting rid of Chris Roca and Peter Lambert. I had just put Lazaro on the trade block, so I'm definitely okay with getting rid of him because he's become another minor league option guy. Kerry Carpenter is an 86. He is a rental, but that's actually fine in this situation because getting rid of Lazaro and then also losing Carpenter after this season, that's just one more roster spot freed up that isn't going to be taken up by somebody whose minor league options are used up. And on top of that, Carpenter's a solid player right now. I mean, honestly, he's kind of just Gavin Sheets, but better. Lefty bat that's good against righties, but he's a little better in the field, probably a little better overall as a hitter. And he plays probably one more position because he can actually play center. I'm probably going to end up doing that one, honestly. But we do have one more to look at. It's from the Reds, and yeah, I mean, this one's not better than the Carpenter one. I mean, what we're giving up doesn't really matter. Honestly, we might be giving up slightly more for this one than the Carpenter one, and we'd be getting less in return. He's also just a rental. But no, I honestly was not expecting to make a move, but this one makes a lot of sense. And nothing weird should be happening with the rosters because it'll just be sliding in Kerry Carpenter for Lazaro. I think actually Peter Lambert, yeah, he's on the 40-man, so that frees up another 40-man spot too, so that's even better than I initially realized. Yeah, we're making this trade. We're stealing a player from the division. I don't really know what else to say. I wasn't really expecting to make any more trades for anybody this good, anybody this high of an overall, but yeah, why not? And honestly, so much of why I like that trade doesn't even involve how good Kerry Carpenter is. But yeah, our two trades we've made so far this season have been really good for hopefully next season seeing prospects make their way up to the bigs, because we got rid of Davy Garcia. Now we got rid of Lazaro. Both those guys would have been forced to stay on the roster because of their minor league option situation. We also, I think, in both trades traded away two 40-man guys, only got one in returns that freed up two 40-man spots. And after this season, I think Sheets is going to be a free agent. Now Kerry Carpenter is going to be a free agent after this season, so that's two more spots filled up or freed up. All of a sudden, I'm actually somewhat optimistic that we're going to get to see what I want next year. I don't want Kerry Carpenter Carpenter, though, starting over Spencer Jones with how good Spencer Jones has been, and then Jones is better as a center fielder. Although Austin Hayes is starting the plummet here with his regression. His numbers are actually slipping too. I actually moved him down in the order before this episode started, but now that we have a guy like Carpenter, I think it makes sense to just have Kerry Carpenter start at DH. You know, I actually didn't even look at the kind of season Kerry Carpenter was having up to this point. He is going off. This trade just keeps getting better and better, which I guess then just leaves us with a player lock to play. Let's hop in, let's debut our brand new player, and then hopefully after this, we'll be able to just go right ahead and look at our draft results. This would be like the quickest turnaround from draft to post-draft screen I feel like I've ever seen. And I think if they put him in his primary, which is right field, facing a righty, that should mean he's batting leadoff, which is a good thing. He'll get the most at bats possible. He's not batting leadoff. Okay, forget what I just said then. Oh, I'm on top of it. Oh, it's not going to get through. What a play, man. I really thought that was going to get through. I probably shouldn't. It's been a whole year where I should have been conditioned to know that ground balls towards the second baseman up the middle, it's like 99% success rate on the dive. All right, second AB. We've got 2 runners out there, 1 out. It's the clutch rating active, which I think was really high for Carpenter. Forgot to move the PCI and was early. Can't even blame the new settings on that one when I leave it in the middle. That one, though, that one is gonna, okay. Thought we were gonna have a second diving play made on me. Would have been nice to drive in a run for whatever that would have done for me. I don't know if it does anything for me. I think it does. I think RBIs help. And we blew it. Bases loaded, 1 out, we blew it. All right, right into our next at bat then. Still just a 1-0 game. I'd like to drive a ball here. It's hard not to blame the new PCI settings whenever I miss a pitch like that, but I might have been missing that one anyway because I slammed the stick all the way down. I guess I should explain for anybody who might be wondering why I'm trying these controller settings. I feel like one of the problems I have sometimes when I play online, especially, because when you're online, you're always facing guys with the outlier fastball. I don't even know why I'm involved in this play. But sometimes when you're trying to catch up to an outlier fastball, I feel like I swing before my left thumb fully reacts and puts the PCI where I want it to. So the hope is a quicker start to the PCI would help me get to those pitches too. It just might sacrifice, I guess, a little bit of accuracy and precision, but I'm hoping it balances out. I don't know. I'm staying optimistic because I had those 2 really good swings in that first game, so that's what I'm trying to focus on instead of the swings and misses. That one again, though, I feel like is just my fault. Moved it in the wrong direction, and I was early. All right, we'll draw a walk. Kind of a shame that last pitch wasn't even close. That actually, if that bloops in, yeah, our guy's going home. He should get in. I forgot to look. He is in, so that's a go-ahead base hit for Jordan Lawler. That's a big one. That was it, though. We don't get another at-bat. We finished off the 3-2 win. You got to get a 1+ at least for that one, right? Yeah, okay. I mean, still, that kind of undersells it because we had 4 plate appearances, I think. Got on in 2 of them. Seems like a 2+ type of day to me. But I can't really complain. We still succeeded at least. We got a fireball for winning the game as a team, so hopefully this should get us a win or 2. I feel like I gotta resign to the fact that we're not gonna contend with 124 wins this season to continue our trend of progressing. I caught a glimpse of that 3rd pick. Oh my god. This in itself is, I feel like, crazy that we actually got here. It's like the game understood the assignment. That was a quick draft, and it gave me a lot of quick sims to get to this point to see our draft picks. I feel like in the past, it's either taken another episode or a way too long episode to try and get all the way here. But let's go through them still one by one. We'll start off with our number 1 pick. He's starting at a 55 overall, which isn't too great. 87 potential is pretty solid. What I do like, though, is the high contact, the high clutch, high discipline, high vision. Feel like that's what matters a lot. I feel like this type of build on a prospect is really solid in my opinion. I feel like this produces solid, like, simming results. Our next pick wasn't as much of a hit, but I guess this, I couldn't really have expected too much more. I knew what his potential window was. What we do see, and was the only thing I really knew about him, was he had good contact against righties. Also, his vision, discipline, and clutch are all pretty high, and he isn't unusable in the the field if we got to the point of needing to use him. I feel like this isn't a terrible pick. Honestly, if this mode was more like balanced and it wasn't so easy to just hoard so much good talent, I feel like this would be like a good guy to keep around. You know what I mean? Solid bat once he progresses that 8 overall up to a 73 potential. He'd be a solid bat against righties, solid in the field, solid speed. This would be like the filler guy you keep around. You have like your 3 or 4 star players, and then this is, you know, bats 8th, maybe like a little fan favorite type guy. I don't know. But the big one, Will Salazar, 99 potential from our 3rd pick. 61 overall starting also isn't too bad. Actually, this wasn't who I thought. For some reason, I thought this was the guy who only had 3 pitches. Still a weird pitch mix on him, though. This was the guy that just had 3 fastballs and then a changeup. But there's a chance this might legitimately be the best pick I've ever made. Because the 61 starting overall, I mean, that's a little low, but it's not like terrible. But the 99 potential is crazy. I'd love to see what he can get up to. I mean, this pick alone might make me for sure want to do that long-term simulation just to see what he ends up as. Looks like none of our picks from here on out are that much of hits. But let's see, at least. I think this was the dude with the 3 pitch mix. 90 Ks per 9 to start. I mean, honestly, if you're only going to have a 3 pitch mix, having good stamina, good velocity, and probably most importantly, good Ks per 9, that might make him something. He's also a 77 overall. He is what he's going to be. This is him. This is Shane Baez. This is what he's going to be. I mean, imagine him with a fast track, though, to get the potential up. Ks per 9 would almost max out, and then everything else would come up to a bit more usable level. He'd be like Eater and Schuster to an extreme. Lewis Ellis, this was kind of what I drafted him for. Seemed like he'd be solid in the field with solid speed. That's exactly what he is. Joe Bowen. This was the guy who I think was the 42nd ranked by our scouts. And yeah, this is a really solid pick. 71 overall to start, B potential at an 81 for a 6th round pick. That's great stuff. And then the last pick was Brian Fairchild, another kind of dysfunctional right fielder. We just, our whole right field, every single right fielder we've drafted, I feel like is just, there's some level of dysfunction to him. But yeah, this guy really, he doesn't have much going for him, except the stealing, I guess. Honestly, though, all things considered, for me not really having people scouted to where I'd want them to be, this was a fine draft. I mean, probably Simmons, Salazar, Baez, and Bowen, they're all very good picks, in my opinion. There's even a chance that Kevin Simmons is like the worst of that group, because I feel like we've kind of lost sight of what a 77 overall is, but like back in season 1, this would have been our 2nd best starting pitcher right here by overall. All right, and even though I've said like a million times by now that things don't matter as much as they have in the past, I still want to look through the rest of the league. Typically, I like to go a bit more in depth looking at the rest of our division, and then the rest of the league, I just kind of point things out if I happen to see anything. But the Guardians here had a rough time. 4 of their 7 picks didn't sign, and the ones that did are very underwhelming. The Tigers, I mean, doesn't look like they really drafted anything too crazy either. I feel like all of our drafts are so much better than so many other teams. Royals, yeah, nothing crazy going on here either. Top pick might be solid though. And then the Twins, yeah, they didn't really do anything either. Terrible draft for the rest of the division. All right, then yeah, I'm just gonna quick go through the rest of the league here on my own, see if there's anything interesting to note. Actually, I mean, right away, this is a pretty solid pick for the A's. I think this was the number 1 overall. 85 overall right out of the gates. I mean, this isn't generational, because a generational pick, I think, has to be 18. They would also have 99 potential. He's not gonna get a ton better, but 85 to start. Probably already one of the best players in their organization. Another solid pick here for the Rangers. I don't know when they picked, but I do remember this name being somebody who was on my radar. But I'm guessing if he was this good, he would have had no chance to make it down to me. Man, and the Marlins absolutely whiffed on this pick. 88 to 99 scouted potential, and the actual is only 75. I don't think I've had that happen yet that I can remember where our scouts have just messed up big time. Good pick though from the Mets, 90 potential, 71 starting overall. Remember, this guy was on my radar. Doesn't seem like anything we missed out on by not taking him, especially when they took him so early. I think this was one of the top picks. Was this the guy who was ranked number 1 overall? Kind of similar to the guy who did go 1 overall. I think this guy went 3 because it was the A's and then the Cubs and then Washington. But yeah, crazy good starting overall overall, 86. He's also a first baseman, so the weaknesses of low fielding and speed don't even matter. It'd be kind of fun to be able to pick high in the draft again. And yeah, the Cubs whiffed. I feel like that's been a couple times they've had a top 3 pick and it is just not panned out for them. Wow, and look at the Padres. The only pick they signed was their last pick. I wonder what happens when this happens. Like, is it a situation where they decided not to sign him? Is it a situation where the players didn't accept any contracts? Maybe they were all worse than they seemed to be, so the Padres just didn't want to deal with them. I don't know. It's just, I don't think I've ever not signed a pick. And I think with the Blue Jays here, that about does it. Yep, we're back to us. I feel like I could say once again that it seems like I had the best draft. I mean, there were definitely a couple other teams who had some good picks. So I don't know if this is as clear as it's been in the past, because definitely some other teams had a much better first overall pick. But when you look at the entire draft, I mean, I've drafted a couple of players that I feel like could do some things given the time, which is something we don't have because we're only playing one more season. At least that's the plan. We move on, and we finally get to call up Sam Hentges. For who, though, is the question. Who can we get rid of? I could just send Woodruff right back down. I might do that. I think that probably makes the most sense. Same overall, and Hentges will probably stay a 79 while Woodruff is going to keep going down. So, yep, we'll bring Hentges up, and that is probably how we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up, I guess, after a couple more games being simmed. And I suppose we'll be starting the next one with the player lock. But no, we got to end it there because there was so much that we got through today, and I just want to mention it again because it was so long ago and so much has happened in the meantime. But don't forget to let me know your thoughts on the potential of me streaming the 6th season. I guess I forgot to say it when I was talking about it initially. Even if I do it on Twitch and don't stream it on the YouTube channel at all, it'll still in some capacity come over to YouTube. I'd probably just end up uploading the raw stream as a whole over on the stream channel that hasn't seen any activity in months. But yeah, if you don't use Twitch or you don't want to use Twitch, you'd still be able to see it. I just feel like that was at least somewhat important to say in case there's anybody who's like, I don't use Twitch and I don't want to completely miss it. You won't. Anyways, though, before I end up rambling too much, make sure you leave a like. Again, leave any thoughts in the comments. We are right on the cusp of 1 million subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. But thanks for watching again. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.